This video is brought to you by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Look, Tanner Scott, solid bullpen arm. I'm actually going to pull up his stats so I can give you just a better read on him. This is a guy who's been on the radar for a while. We saw him a good bit this year. Really just a great arm. And look, 175 ERA on the year. Really just solid work. He spent time in both Miami and San Diego. We saw him a lot in Miami. In Miami, he had a, let me see. He had a 118 ERA. In San Diego, he had a 273. Less time in San Diego, so smaller sample size there. But really, he's been a solid reliever and could be a really good eighth inning guy, obviously behind Rysel as closer. I think that fits really well, especially when you consider the fact that Joe Jimenez is out of the conversation here, and especially when you consider that there's concerns about A.J. Minter. I think this is a really good idea. We could use some lefty help, and Tanner Scott does give you that. I think this could actually really happen. Some predictions are saying that he's going to make anywhere from around $48 million over 3 years, which, by the way, that's $16 million a year. Now, when I first read that, it's like, all right, well, could I see Alex Anthopoulos tying up $16 million on one reliever? And I said, okay, well, what's our highest reliever, contract at the moment? And it's Rysel. He's making $14.5 million a year. Now, based on that projection, you'd be paying Tanner Scott more than Rysel. But here's why I think that's possible. Number one, it's a projection. It doesn't mean anything. It's just, do the Braves, could that be a possibility? I think it could be, because there is a desperate need right now in the bullpen. You're missing Joe Jimenez. You're uncertain about Minter. You needed lefty help anyway in the pen last year, whether we like to admit it or not. You may have to replace Jesse Chavez. You did sign Bummer, but you're still uncertain about the rest of the bullpen. There's a lot of concern there, rightfully so. Tanner Scott, if you landed him, especially over the next 3 years, that shores up your bullpen to a major degree. And I think that's worth more in spending the money. The other thing is, when you think about the money, well, we just cut costs with d'Arnaud. Why did we do that? Well, for this type of situation. Now, I told you that with losing d'Arnaud, I thought we'd attack bullpen. I did tell you that. And I think this would be a good move to do it with. Again, you'd pay him $16 million a year. Well, you just freed up half of that on d'Arnaud. You could free up more of that cutting costs as time goes on. We'll see. There's going to be some that are just naturally coming off the books. And if you can pay him, I think this is a viable deal. I've liked Tanner Scott a lot. The Marlins over the past few years have had a lot of bullpen arms that I've actually oh man, I wish we could get them out of Miami and get them in Atlanta.
We're hammering down high prices at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. New Chevy Silverado 4x4 crew cabs discounted up to $14,000 off. Brand new 2025 Chevy Equinox compact SUV with high-tech features discounted up to $4,000 off. Enjoy your holidays with no payments until February. Choose from over 500 new and used on the lot or on the way. GlennSmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Is bullpen top priority? No. I still think top priority is figuring out your starting rotation, because as it stands on opening day, you have, let's just write them out. You have Reynaldo, he's signed. You have Spencer Schwellenbach. Strider's hurt. Fried's gone. And Morton's gone. Oh, you have Chris Sale. So you have three. You still got two that, eventually Strider will come back, but on opening day, he's on the outside looking in. That's not the end of the world. So really, you could just fill it with one, but I still think that one is a big question. Will it be Max Fried, or will you go outside the box and maybe go after a Jack Flaherty, maybe go after some type of trade that we saw with Chris Sale last year? A lot could happen with that. I still think starting pitching is starting priority, no pun intended. But Tanner Scott would help you fill your bullpen out very quickly. great lefty reliever, could probably afford him, would be a great 8th inning guy. I don't know how he is in the clubhouse. I've never met the guy, but I do think he could be a really solid arm for the Braves to use. Not to mention, you take him away from the Padres, you take him away from the Mets, you take him. I mean, you don't have to face him anymore. I think that's pretty interesting. He is a free agent as we speak. He is available, and he made one over last year. He was on a 1-year deal, $5.7 million. So he was extremely affordable for the Padres. Obviously, they had to trade for him, but in terms of payout, they paid half that, if that. So there's a lot that could be said there. I think Tanner Scott's the most doable. Will he make $48 million? I think that could be debated. I think he'll be more affordable than that. So I'm not just shooting everything down here. I don't think Teoscar will happen. Willie Adames is more possible than Teoscar, but I still don't see it happening, not when they're paying Orlando so cheap, and he's still putting out decent results. I just don't see it happening. But Tanner Scott, with the need in the bullpen as it stands, and Joe Jimenez possibly being out for the entirety of the season next year, and A.J. Minter being uncertain as well, and again, you still needed lefty help last year anyway, that could be a saving grace. And for anybody out there that's going, Tyler, they're not going to pay him more than what they're paying Rysel. They also weren't as desperate when they made the trade for Rysel. They didn't make the deal with Rysel. Rysel has definitely earned it over the past couple of seasons, but they did not make that deal. That was a trade, I believe, for Tucker Davidson with the Angels for Rysel Iglesias. They've made the most of it, but it's not like they, again, made that deal, and I think they would gladly make this deal. 3 years is not a huge commitment. That's in the ballpark for what the Braves would do. $48 million sounds like a lot because it is, but across 3 years, you're talking $16 million. I think we can afford it, and you got money coming off the books, but we will see what happens.
This video has been brought to you by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.